Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. I'm back with Sana today. So, Sana is a psychologist, and thank you very much, Sana, for being here. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi, to have me on. Give me this opportunity.
Yeah, my pleasure again. So, Sana, before getting into any kind of question or anything, it would be great if you could speak about your work, about your achievements, what you do, and all about that stuff.
Right, so I'm a counseling psychologist, Lakshit. I have done my MSc in psychology from IIPR, which is Indian Institute of Psychology and Research, Bangalore. And I'm currently working in Fortis La Farm Hospital, Bangalore. It's in the city center. So I see patients in the inpatients, in the IPD, as well as outpatients in my OPD as well. I'm available in La Farm from Monday to Saturday, 9 to 5:30. I also conduct corporate talks on mental health. We also conduct workshops and webinars for schools on either exam and study skills, or we have a program running for cyberbullying and bullying to buddy.
Okay, great, beautiful.
We also have a helpline number that I provide services on. So it's a 24 into 7 helpline number, which is currently run by people in the Fortis department.
Okay. So yeah, my apologies to just interfere in the between. Sorry for that. So my second question to you would be, Sana, if you could, if we of course know mental health and the thing everybody says about the mental health is a thing which is equal to your physical health and all those cliche stuff. But if you could keep a perspective more about mental health and what it is more than just a physical health or mental health, what it is more and how, yeah.
I don't think one is over the other. Both are equally important because there is a huge connection between your mind, your brain, and your body. So, any thought or emotion that is felt by you or thought by you, it definitely manifests itself in physical symptoms. Like, say, for example, depression would lead to lower back pain, or something like anxiety would lead to, gastrointestinal issues. So, there's a huge connection between both. You can't say only mental health is important and negate your physical health, or you can't say let's emphasize only on physical health. Mental health is not that important. They both are equally important. Your overall well-being depends on both these domains, physical as well as mental health. And yes, in the past we have focused a lot on physical health. We haven't given much of a thought to mental health, and that is one of the reasons why it is still a stigma. It's still very stereotypical concept to talk about. uh, and this is where we come in, and we are taking up these podcasts, webinars, and workshops in order to create awareness on mental health. So, just being a psychologist is not only treating someone with a mental health issue, it's very important to create awareness as well.
Okay.
So, that's my take on mental health. And I think everybody, regardless of them having a mental health disorder, they should be giving importance to their mental health because it's as important as their physical health.
Okay, great, beautiful.
And that's my take on mental health.
So my next question to you would be that please, take us to the topic and what you're going to discuss about in today's session, and what is it's going to be all
Right.
about.
hmm Okay. So today's topic I have thought of discussing on mental health in couples. Okay. So when I mean couples, it can be romantic relationships, it can be non-romantic relationships, married couple, unmarried couples. So couples in general.
Great.
So let's start off with mental health
Sure,
in
sure.
couples.
So, how important or what impact does what do you think? What does it come to your mind when I say mental health in couples? When we speak about mental health in couples?
Right. So we usually look at mental health as something which only one person suffers with. We don't really understand that when you are in a relationship, when you're in a partnership, right, your behavior, your emotions, your thought affects the other person. Okay. Let me give you a brief example. Now, say you're a cancer patient, long-term terminally ill patient, right? So the caregiver who is going to take care of the cancer patient, their mental health is also as important as that of a cancer patient. The same thing goes in any form of relationship. Your partner's mental health will definitely affect your mental health. So when a couple's relationship, they are under stress, partners begin to physically and emotionally also distance themselves from each other. They tend to avoid each other, and when they do come together, it's usually quite strained. It increases frustration, aggression, anger. It can also lead to a lot of violent behavior as well. And especially if you're living together, if you're married or you're in a live-in relationship, you're seeing that person 24/7. You're spending a lot of quality time with the person, right? So you get impacted, eventually get affected by their behaviors as well. So having a partner with a good mental health, someone who takes care of the mental health, is very important. So as partner of someone with a mental health disorder, it's not unusual for them to experience, a range of unpleasant emotions such as frustration, anger, and sadness. They do tend to report that they're feeling depressed, they're feeling low mood, or they're angry and frustrated. It can also lead to a lot of guilt and resentment in the partner as well when your partner is experiencing mental health crisis.
Okay, okay. Um, you know, the impact it creates, I think mental health in a whole, whatever happens to anybody nearby, and that lives an impact in your mind, and it does make an impact in your mind. But when you're, when you fall in love with a person, and when you even if you take it as a friendship, not just as a couples or anything, but of course we are speaking about couples today. But my thing I would like to
Right.
ask here to you is, the impact. What's the impact it creates? The Because you understand a person, then you think he or she, or any him or her or them, or they are for me. I love them, I like them.
Mm.
We go, we understand each other, our likes and dislikes are same, things are same. But then you realize that that's not the thing. I just knew the ice tip of the iceberg. Of course we don't have icebergs today, but it's just the icebergs of tip of the
Mhm.
iceberg, but the real inner of the iceberg we never knew about. So how does that,
Right.
how
So
impact does that
initially,
create?
what happens, there's quite a lot of significant impact, right? When a partner or your close friend, like the question you asked, are having a mental health crisis. So what happens is initially, of course, you don't really get into the details of any form of disease or disorder or illness or crisis you're experiencing, because usually you don't talk about these kind of you don't usually have these kind of conversations when you're building a new friendship or a relationship. It is after a period of time when you start living with the person, talking, interacting, and spending more time, you really get to understand how the person is. And it starts becoming challenging because you were never prepared. You never pictured out that your relationship is going to turn out to be like this. Right? Of course, everybody wants to have a gala time. Everybody wants to have, positive energy. You want to have people who are positive all the time around you, right? Ideally, that's what everybody's looking for. But then you get to realize that your significant other or partner is probably, depressed or is anxious or has certain sort of personality problems. And then it starts becoming challenging. So it has a great impact. It can affect your appetite, your sleep, your level of intimacy also gets affected. Of course, you also feel tired, fatigued. It can increase anger, aggression, frustration level. It also hampers communication because of your mental health crisis. Understanding becomes very challenging and difficult. So even communication becomes uh, very limited.
Okay, okay. So I think I'm just putting a question up here, which of course we didn't discuss about, and I didn't think it will come up. But I just like to put like here over here. Is positivity or positive or being positive overrated in relationships? Yeah, what do you think?
Yes, definitely is. There's a new concept that has arisen. It's called positive toxicity, right? And this comes from a lot of social media content where people are constantly talking about being positive, being positive, being positive. And there's a very unrealistic standard of positivity which has been portrayed in media houses or on social media, right? Everybody is just putting out what they're happy about and only the good parts of their life. Nobody is really talking about the struggles. Nobody really wants to share their scars or their wounds. So this creates a very unrealistic image in people's mind, especially vulnerables, especially teenagers, young adults who are just growing up, who are just trying to explore the world. So they have this very unrealistic standard. And when something in life which is, unplanned, uncalled for, unpleasant, they're unable to take it in. And thus leads to a lot of anxiety, leads to low self-esteem, poor confidence level, and etc., right? So yes, positivity is important, it is required. You should have a positive mindset in order to give you a different perspective into whatever crisis you are under. But the way positivity is portrayed in today's generation is definitely quite toxic. It's quite cutthroat. It's more like you're competing or pursuing, the pursuit for happiness. So in that pursuit, you're not really happy.
Okay,
So we have
okay.
to understand happiness is a journey. It's not really a destination.
Yeah, really beautiful. So next question I would like to keep over here is, the whole intention I started this podcast was to bring solutions to people, but
Right?
I think all over the world, living some of one of the two countries, everywhere mental health is a stigma and nobody speaks about it. I think, let it be the European countries or let it be any country,
Right.
any far or bigger or developed or anything,
Mm-hmm.
there are very
Right.
few countries where mental health is a thing and they speak about. So my
Right.
reason, my thing was here to help people, because it's a stigma. Not everybody's comfortable still now to speak about it. Not everybody's happy to speak
Right.
about
Of
it.
course.
So my
Right.
thing here is to bring solutions which help people, and people can get solutions and help, but not don't feel shy or bad about it. And also, therapy has a cost to it. Not everybody can afford it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So my question to you: what could be the solutions? What can we do to help these kind of couples who are suffering in these kind of of course, I think divorce is a solution, but not every small problem divorce can be a solution, right?
Right. Exactly. And I
So
also feel the whole thing of, my way or the highway is something which is very unhealthy, because you have to make compromises in a relationship. It cannot always be my way or the highway. You can't always end up taking a divorce. It's not that easy, and it shouldn't be that easy, right? No doubt there's nothing wrong in getting a divorce, but there has to be some sort of, a mutual understanding, a mutual ground. That's how relationships work. A healthy relationship should allow both the people in a relationship to feel supported and connected, but also allow each person to maintain their own independence, their own autonomy, right? So you shouldn't feel like you're getting suffocated or you're losing your true identity in any form of relationship. And every relationship works on two different ways. So either the person A is dominant, and when the person A is dominant, the person B is submissive, vice versa. So no given situation, two people can be dominant or two people can be submissive. Relationships don't last that way. So somewhere or the other, one person has to compromise and the other person has to take an action, and vice versa. So it's not that, only the person A is dominant all the time and the person B is submissive. That also becomes a toxic relationship.
okay, okay. So yeah, my last question to you would be, please, if you have any message, or would you like to, if you would like to address anything, please go ahead.
Right. I think this has to do a lot with the previous question that you asked me. How can couples maintain a healthy relationship, especially when there's mental health crisis in the relationship? First and foremost thing would be to educate yourself, right? So identify what your triggers are or what is the trigger of your partner. Then get correct information on the symptoms. Identify the symptoms. And then educate yourself on the correct treatment and method of treatment. So whether it is psychotherapy, whether it is just counseling, or whether it is meeting a psychiatrist and taking medication, and lifestyle changes. The next thing is to practice communication skills, which means the couples, right? They need to speak openly, honestly about their needs, their concern, their goals. Active listening is very important in any form of relationship. Maintaining eye contact is also so much more important. That's something we don't really emphasize on. But maintaining eye contact stimulates a lot of hormones which elevates your mood. It also builds a lot of bond and connection between couples. And of course, gentle touch, taking interest in the other person's goal on a regular basis is also very important. So what and followed by that, what couples can do is to commit to self-care. By that, they can keep some time apart on a regular basis. They can do some hobbies together, have a proper regular sleeping schedule. They can exercise regularly. Journaling is a wonderful activity as well. It could be because it could be a gratitude journal. It could also be an emotional journal, which can give them a different perspective into the thoughts and emotions. And of course, eating healthy is very important. What I always emphasize with couples in marital counseling or in relationship counseling is to have realistic expectations from each other, right? We have a very unrealistic expectations from our partners, and that has a lot to do with the movies we watch, the romantic movies or the rom-coms that we usually watch. We have a very unrealistic standard when it comes to our partners. We have to understand they're humans. They also have mental health issues. They can also make mistakes. So forgiveness is a key to long-lasting relationship and marriages. And of course, what second last thing what I would like to emphasize is that you should not violate the other person's boundaries, right?
Mhm.
Each of us should have healthy boundaries, even in significant relationships, even in a married couple. There has to be some sort of boundaries which allows you to, compromise when required, and which allows you to grow together. So where you feel supported as well as safe. So never violate your partner's boundaries. And lastly, regardless of you practicing these lifestyle changes and so on and so forth, you still are finding difficulties in the relationship, seek professional help. There's absolutely no shame in seeking professional help.
Yeah, yeah, true, really true. So, thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you very, very much for giving your time. I'm really grateful to you that you joined me in for this session. Thank you very, very, very much.
Thank you so much, Lakshya, for giving this opportunity to me.
My pleasure again.